Hello?
We're closed now.
I'm sorry, I was hoping you might be able to help me. I'm looking for a man named Louis Fichterwald. Is he here?
What'd you say your name was?
The name's Jim Pearson. I'm with the COI.
No, sir, Mr. Pearson. I ain't heard of no Louis Fichterwald.
I was told I could find him here.
Oh, no, sir, you must be mistaken.
I didn't. Hank Finster sent me. He had a message he wanted me to deliver to Louis. He's reconsidered Louis's offer.
Yeah, Louis'd want to hear about that. He ain't here right now, though. You tried out at the mission?
A mission? What's a convicted felon doing at a mission?
Say, who is this really? You better beat it, buddy. We're closed.
Hello?
We're closed now. Come back later.
President Roosevelt had just authorized the formation of the COI that summer. They were supposed to be the outfit that handled the real spy stuff overseas. It was the place to be if you wanted real adventure. At least, that was the bill of goods the recruiters for the COI sold me. And here I was, stuck in a crummy old office, in Cleveland of all places, as far away from any real action as I could imagine.
Hello? Anybody here? Hey, mister, what's the matter with you?
Just a little beat is all. What are you doing here?
Are you Jim Pearson?
Yeah, I am.
Man told me he'd give me a nickel if I gave this to you.
All right. I'm game. Here you go.
Thanks, mister.
Hey, what's in here?
Don't know.
Do you know a fella named Louis?
Sure, I know Louis.
Do you know where I might be able to find him?
Yeah, he works at the Raven Room. He's a doorman. Say, why are you looking for Louis?
I've just got a few questions for him.
Oh, I thought maybe he'd gotten into trouble.
He get into trouble a lot?
Yeah, Louis's always getting into trouble. Oh, but I shouldn't be talking about that.
Why shouldn't you say anything about that?
I don't rat on friends.
How long have you known Louis?
Oh, Louis and me go way back.
You don't say.
Yeah, since we was kids. Louis's always looking out for me. He even got me this here job.
This Louis sounds like a swell guy.
Oh, he's the best. You want to see something?
Sure, why not?
Louis even got me introduced to Gloria the Mill. Got my picture taken with her and everything.
Say, that sure is a nice picture. Who are those other fellas?
They friends of Louis.
What do you do here, friend?
I help the fathers with the place. Keeping things up, that sort of thing.
Jack of all trades, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Mostly, I help out with the hobos. Make sure there's no trouble.
You see a lot of trouble in here?
No, not really. Mostly I play cards.
A lot of people come through here, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Especially now, what with everyone afraid of the torso killer, no one wants to sleep by himself anymore.
Hasn't anyone been able to help?
No. They just try to get rid of the poor hobos. Why, just last month, Mr. Ness burned down their camps. Said he was trying to smoke out the killer, but all he did was burn down their homes.
Well, I think it's a mighty decent job you're doing here, friend.
Thanks, mister.
The father's around now?
No, they left me to watch the place. What's the matter, mister?
They were supposed to have a package for me. So you don't suppose you... No, I couldn't ask you to do that.
Do what, mister?
You don't suppose you could look for that package for me, do you? They were supposed to have it in their offices.
Oh, sure, mister. I could do that for you. You'll watch the counter for me, won't you?
No problem, friend.
Say, mister,
Yes.
what's this package look like?
It's about that big, say, and about that high.
All right, I'll go fetch it for you.
Excuse me, my name's Jim Pearson. I'm from the COI. I was hoping you might be able to help me.
Sure, mister. I'll help you if I can.
I've just got a couple of questions for you.
Oh, all right. I'll help you if I can.
Excuse me. I'm looking for a man named George Hansen. He used to be a foreman at the Finster Munitions factory. Do you know where I might be able to find him?
Who's asking?
I'm Jim Pearson from the COI. I was told he might be able to help me find...
Louis.
Louis?
This is about the creep that gave Finster that piece of paper, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, you must be George.
Yeah, I'm George.
What can you tell me about this Louis? You have a last name?
I suppose so, don't everybody? I don't know what it is, though, mister.
Is Louis a friend of yours?
That rat, I didn't know him from Adam a few weeks ago.
How'd you meet him?
Me and some of the fellows was in here blowing off steam after payday last month. This guy Louis was in here. He starts talking, I start to feel kind of bad for him. He says he's a little down and out right now, but all he needs is some prospects and he'll be back up on his feet again. I tell him I got some pulled down at the factory. Maybe I can get him in to see Mr. Finster. Maybe he can get a job.
You didn't ask him about a job, though, did he?
Nah. He gets in there and starts talking up that secret brotherhood crap. Next thing I know, Louis headed out the door and Finster's busting his gasket. I lost my job, I lost my house, and I lost my wife, and it's all on account of that Louis.
Do you have any idea where I might be able to find this Louis now?
Oh, buddy, don't I wish. If I could find him, I'd break his lousy neck.
Do you remember anything else about him?
Nah.
You said you were in here with your buddies. Would any of them remember anything?
I don't know. I'll ask around, see if I can help you out. Stop back later.
Thanks, George. You've been a big help. Hello, George. Were you able to find out anything else about Louis?
Nah, I asked around, but it's like I told you, nobody knows this guy.
Ah, well. Thanks for your cooperation. If you happen to hear anything else, please give me a call at the COI office in the Federal Building.
Wait. There is something else. It didn't mean nothing to me, but it might mean something to you. One of the boys says he overheard Louis talking to Mr. Finster. He says he kept calling himself Harold. Now, I don't know if it means anything or not, but I just sworn on the Holy Bible he said his name was Louis.
I don't know if it means anything or not, but it could be important. Thanks again, George.
Just catch his creep and lock him up for good. I'll be talking to the boys later.
Okay, George, I'll stop back later then. Helen, could I see that book again?
Sure, Jim.
Thanks. What is it exactly your father does, Helen?
Why? Didn't Mr. Penske tell you?
I'm afraid I've never met Mr. Penske.
But don't you... I'm afraid I don't understand. Didn't Mr. Penske send you?
I've replaced Mr. Penske. I found the message you left for him, and, well, I was hoping you might be able to tell me what he needed to see your father about.
He wanted my father to examine some artifacts he'd found on an investigation of his. As far as I know, they never did meet. My father was called away suddenly on business, and I didn't want to leave Mr. Penske in the lurch. That's why I volunteered to help. If I could, of course.
What is it you do here, Helen?
Well, I'm just a graduate student intern here now, but one day I'm going to run this museum, or one just like it anyway. They've got such a wonderful display of Central European artifacts from the Middle Ages. Well, that's my area of study, Central European history, and I'm sorry, I'm sure you're not interested in listening to me babble. I could so just go on and on about my work.
Oh, that's okay, Professor.
My father's the professor.
And I just bet you're a chip off the old block. Do you suppose that these are the artifacts that Mr. Penske wanted to speak to your father about?
Why, yes, I believe they are. Mr. Penske told my father there were inscriptions on them. These are runes. Norse runes, I'm sure of it.
Norse runes?
Yes, Norse, the ancient Scandinavians, the Swedes, the Danes, the Germans. You probably know of them as Vikings. We still see many of their roots today. For example, Wednesday is a derivative of Woden's Day or Odin's Day. And then
Whoa. Slow down, Professor. Are you trying to tell me that these runes are an ancient form of Germanic writing?
Well, yes, that's right. The runes are a sort of alphabet. Some people also use the symbols to represent words, like the Egyptian hieroglyphics.
These pieces look like they interlock somehow. Do you think you could help me figure out the order?
Sure, I'd love to.
What about these parchments here? They're the same runes, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Someone's already begun a translation of them. 9 gifts to Odin. That generally would have meant a sacrifice of some sort.
A sacrifice? What sort of sacrifice?
Well, usually a human sacrifice. The Vikings would choose 9 strong men and hang them. Sometimes they'd behead them. As often as not, it merely meant an animal sacrifice.
Go on.
Well, it's hard to tell. These sheets are just fragments. I'd need some time.
All right. I'll check back later then. Were you able to figure out how those rune pieces assemble?
I'm sorry, I haven't. They all seem to fit together. There could be hundreds of possibilities. I imagine there's some sort of sequence. The runes seem to suggest some sort of message when assembled, but without a proper key to their order, it would be impossible to figure out the right one. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more help.
No, you've done a fine job. At least now I have some idea of where to begin.
I've had more luck with the parchments.
What'd you make of them?
Well, it's very odd. It threw me at first, but I figured out that the text, though written in runes, could be read phonetically in English. It turns out that it looks like they were describing some sort of ritual, and 2 of them, in fact, one to summon Odin and one to grant the powers of Odin. They seemed to revolve these rituals around 3 objects of power. One was a wise man's skull, one was a cup made from ash wood, and the 3rd object wasn't as clear. It was Dahlia's dark prison. Dahlia was the name of a seer, a muse. Does any of that mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Oh. Well, there's a book on Old Norse legends on the shelf if you think that would help.
Thanks, Helen. What do you make of this?
I don't think I've ever heard of the Brotherhood of Thule before. I do seem to recall a group called the Thule Society, however. They were a secret society that became very popular with the German people after the Great War. Some people said they were a cabal of black magicians.
Black magicians. You don't really believe that, do you?
No, it's far more likely they met as an excuse to drink beer and talk about politics. They did have a great deal of influence on the German people, however. They were early proponents of German nationalism and Aryan superiority. And without the backing of the Thule Society, the Nazi Party probably would never have lasted.
Yeah, wouldn't that have been a shame? What do you make of those symbols?
These are runes, and that's their English translation beneath them. These crests are what really interests me, though. They're not the crests of traditional German aristocracy. Oh, wait a minute.
What is it, Helen?
I think I know where I've seen these before.
What are you looking for?
Aha! These are the crests of an ancient sect of Germanic knights. They posed as Christian soldiers. They still continue to worship the Old Norse gods and gave human sacrifices to them.
What do you make of the crest on this letterhead?
Wait a minute. That's funny. It's the same crest as the Sergeant-at-Arms.
Are you telling me that the Finster family used to be a part of this group of pagan knights?
No, not Finster, the Finster Law family. They probably Americanized it when they came to this country. Many immigrants did. Here, take a look for yourself. This book's got the crests and the family names of all the Germanic knights. The pagan knights are in here as well.
Thanks, Helen. This might come in handy.
Eventually, they were excommunicated by the Pope and forced into exile from Germany.
I don't get it. So, how is it you know so much about these pagan knights?
Well, I should know they're one of my father's pet projects. He's in the process of restoring a stained glass window with the crests of the officers of the sect even now.
But I don't get it. What do those knights have to do with this invitation?
Well, they're the same. The crests are the same.
So, whoever these people are, this Brotherhood of Thule, they're modeling themselves after an ancient sect of pagan knights? Here in Cleveland?
It sure seems that way.
Do you mind if I have a look at your father's project?
Sure, I don't see why not.
Do you mind if I examine it?
Well,
I won't do anything to get you into hot water with your father. I'll be very careful, I promise.
well, as long as you're careful, I guess it won't hurt anything.
Do you mind if I have a look at your father's project?
Sure, I don't see why not.
You said that the Finster crest was the same as the Sergeant-at-Arms crest.
Well, yes, that's right.
How many rankings do these knights have?
Well, that depends. There are literally hundreds of Germanic knights alone, but you're only interested in one rather small branch of knights. Now, according to my father's notes, there were 4 officers among the 12 knights. The head of the order, the sergeant-at-arms, the scribe, and the herald.
Wait a minute. What did you just say?
The head of the order, the sergeant-at-arms, the scribe, and the herald.
The herald?
You know, the messenger.
That's it! Louis! Louis wasn't going by the name Harold at all. He was calling himself their herald. Helen, you're wonderful. You're wonderful.
Glad I could help, Jim.
This might come in handy.
I'm sorry, you must have the wrong number.
Oh, sorry to have bothered you.
You got the wrong number, pal.
Sorry to have bothered you.
I'm sorry, sir. There's no one here by that name.
Sorry to have bothered you.
Is
Really? Well, sorry to have bothered you.
He ain't here right now. You tried the Raven Room? You know, the swanky club on 9th Street.
Yeah, I'll try there, thanks. Looks like I finally found Louis.
Come in.
Excuse me, are you Miss Strauss?
I'm Helen Strauss.
Hi, how do you do? I'm Jim Pearson from the COI. I came across your name at work, and I was hoping, well, I was hoping you might be able to help me.
I'd love to. That is, if I can.
Nazis. His gun is SS issue. Nazis. His gun is SS issue. Well, well, well. If it isn't Louis Fisher, or is it Fielding? What is it these days? Fisterwald, right?
That's Mr. Fichterwalt to you. And who the hell are you?
I'm Agent Pearson. I'm with the COI. I'd like to speak to you about some alleged subversive acts.
Slag off, you lousy Fed. I ain't got nothing to say to you.
Well, we've got plenty to talk about. For starters, there's the subversive materials you've been handing out. You do know the penalty for treason, don't you?
I ain't committed no treason. And you ain't got nothing on me anyhow. If you did, you would have pinched me already.
Well, I've half a mind to take you in just for the sake of it.
Go ahead and try. I'd be out of the stir so fast your head would be spinning. You can't touch me. I got friends. Now beat it. I got a job to do.
You haven't heard the last from me.
Go to hell.
I hear you used to keep some pretty interesting company, Louis.
What the hell are you talking about?
Dutch Schultz, Lenny Cohen, Moose Malone. Oh, I'd be willing to bet your old friends would just love to know where you are right now.
Where'd you get that?
Never mind where I got it. I think we're going to have that little talk now. Or do you think your new friends are going to be able to help you now?
You lousy Fed. Do you know what you've done? I'm a dead man. Dead for sure.
I'm a reasonable kind of fella, Louis. All you have to do is talk to me, and this little matter just blows away. Now, where'd you get the invitation you gave Finster?
Shh! Not here. Are you crazy? They'll see me. They'll know.
Who'll know?
Oh, what's it matter? I'm a dead man. Dead for sure. I'll talk to you, mister. But not here.
Why not, Louis? Why not talk here?
I wouldn't. I can't. It's too late. He'd know. Look, he'd find me. I got a place. A safe place. Where he might not see me. We could meet there.
Yeah, I leave now, and you have all the time you need to skip town.
I won't light out. I swear. There's no point. I can't run anywhere. He'll find me. Please. Please. We'll talk. But not here. Anywhere but here.
You better be square with me.
I swear on my mother's grave. Just meet me there.
All right. Tell me where the place is.
You got nothing on me, you lousy Fed. Now beat it.
Do you recognize anyone in this photo?
Whoa. Those are some pretty big players you got there, kid. Dutch Schultz, Lenny Cohen, Moose Malone. These boys run all the rackets in Cleveland. The skirt's Dutch's girl, Gloria DeMille. She was in pictures before the scandal sheets found out she was dating a gangster. I'm not too sure about these other two fellas, though.
The big man's name is Ernie. You don't recognize the other guy?
I'll be damned. That's Louis the Fish. Small-time hood, bagman for Dutch. Word has it he made off with Dutch's take from a booze run a couple of years ago. Took off with a cool 10 grand.
What happened to him?
Well, he said he went to Atlantic City. He was throwing money around like it grew on trees. Blew the whole wad on women, booze, gambling, you name it. Word got back to Dutch and Louis disappeared. Ain't never been seen since. Everybody figured he was dead.
He's not dead.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of crooks in this city that'd love to know that.
Excuse me, do either of you know a man named Louis? I'm told he comes here often.
Hey, quit bothering my customers.
Come in.
Guess Ernie's still looking for that package.